We're halfway through the 2022 F1 car launch season with Haas, Red Bull, Aston Martin, and McLaren debuting their 2022 challengers earlier this week. Over the next few weeks, the remaining 5 teams will showcase their cars for the world to see, but the first week of car launches leaves us with plenty to talk about and plenty to look forward to this season. In today's video, we'll look at 3 takeaways from the first week of car launches and what we've learned so far from F1's new era. Before we look at the takeaways from launch season so far, take a second to subscribe to our channel, and if you'd like to support us further, consider becoming a member to the BMF1 Show community. With the drastic new regulations of 2022, fans were somewhat concerned that the more restrictive nature of the rulebook would lead to a conformity of designs between the teams. But so far from what we've seen, that is not going to be the case, and that's a good thing. Putting aside the fake Red Bull and keeping in mind this video is being recorded prior to AlphaTauri's launch on Monday, there are plenty of differences between the design philosophies from the teams we've seen so far. Without getting too technical and in over our heads, the most obvious differences in design can be seen in the side pods and cooling packages. McLaren, for example, have decided to shrink wrap the side pod area, whereas Aston Martin have gone a different way. We also see a drastically different design for the radiator exits, with Aston Martin using plenty of radiator louvers on its side pod, while McLaren have the exits at the rear of the bodywork. This allows the car to retain more of its Coke bottle shape, as we see from the aerial view of the car, with a distinct lack of undercut to the side pods that we've seen in recent years. Where the McLaren is very different to either the Haas or Aston Martin is in its suspension layout, both front and rear. In place of the conventional pushrod front / pull rod rear is the opposite. McLaren have opted for a pull rod front, which was last used at McLaren in 2013 and last seen in F1 back in 2015 used by Ferrari. These are just some of the differing designs between the teams in the first week of launches, and it's good to see the innovation at work to solve the puzzle of this massive rule change. The 2022 launch season started off fairly slowly, with Haas debuting their VF22 via computer renders, and with Red Bull just slapping their 2022 livery on an FIA show car model. In the weeks leading up to the launch season, an F1 insider shared some information that 8 of the 10 teams had purchased multiple 2022 car models from the FIA and were going to drastic lengths to hide their new cars. Clearly, Red Bull were one of those teams, as their 2022 launch was effectively a livery launch and the announcement of new corporate sponsors. Red Bull were the first of the title-contending teams to launch their car, but it is clear they want to hide their design until the last minute possible. This could be good or bad news for the defending drivers' champions, as either they've got the new regulations spot on, or they're just not sure of themselves. Red Bull have gone a different direction than what is expected from their rivals at Mercedes and Ferrari. Mercedes will be launching their car on the 18th of February, and will be running their W13 on track that day in Silverstone. Although some teams might actually reveal an early concept design of their 2022 cars, even teams that have launched their cars so far are still hiding some details. McLaren, for example, have not provided many photos of the rear of their car, and the Haas VF22 is rumored to be an early design model. The next few weeks will be very interesting, as we could see totally different cars from the Barcelona test to the Bahrain test and ultimately the first Grand Prix in March. The biggest positive takeaway from the first week of 2022 launches was actually getting to see the new generation car out on track for the first time. While Red Bull did everything to hide their car, Aston Martin delighted the fans by taking their AMR 22 for a spin around Silverstone the day after their launch. The new generation of Formula One cars has gotten fans very excited for this season. Seeing a real-life version of the 2022 model looks far better than any computer render, and the new design looks much sleeker, compact, but still very racy. Whether these new regulations provide us with better racing is another question on its own, but the design philosophy looks like the move in the right direction. It might take a while to get used to the higher front wings and dramatically new rear wing designs, but Aston Martin's on-track debut of the 2022 car is certainly the best thing to come from the launch season so far. Out of the cars you've seen launch so far, which one is your favorite in terms of livery and design? And what stands out to you so far in this year's launch season? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Thanks for watching.